If you've seen this channel before, you'll already know that I spend a lot of time researching and talking about Palantir. It's one of the biggest positions in my portfolio and one that I'm very convicted on and bullish for the long term. So in today's video, I wanted to do quite a simple video and basically break down 3 different reasons as to why I'm personally bullish on this company. Now, what I will say is by no means are these the only reasons. I just wanted to pick 3 that I could talk about for a little while and would give you good insight into this company if you are already an investor or perhaps you're considering adding it to your portfolio in the future. Please leave your reasons, your top 3 reasons about why you're bullish for Palantir in the comments below so people can see it. And if you do want to support this channel further, I do have memberships enabled now. Depending on which tier you opt for, there are different perks. There are some loyalty badges, some fun emojis with Alex Karp's face, early access to videos, guaranteed reply to comments and things like that. So do check that out if you want to. Let's get into reason number 1. Number 1 is something that Palantir offer that I think is completely being slept on. It's completely underrated. It's not spoken about enough, even though Palantir have started bringing this up more and more as time goes on. But that is, of course, if you haven't guessed already, FedStart. FedStart is a program that Palantir have, and it's a program where basically they offer companies help to get those companies in front of the US government. Now, let me back up a minute and just explain what this is all about. Palantir are solving a real problem. They are creating real value because a lot of businesses have the problem I'm about to explain. So when a company wants to work with the US government, they don't just simply fill in a form and give their software solution to the government and they start working together. It is far from that simple. It's costly. It costs a lot of money because you need the accreditations necessary to actually put your software in front of the US government. You need impact level clearance, and you sometimes even need FedRAMP as well. So it's not as simple as literally just signing up and working with the government if your software is good enough. However, lots of businesses, lots and lots of even startup businesses ultimately want to work with the US government because they think that they have a piece of software that could be beneficial to the government. And obviously that opens them up to a lot of money as well. So it's very, very favorable for companies to do this. However, companies can't get into the position to actually start working with them because of all these hurdles that they need to jump over in order to do so. And if you think about especially a startup company, they are not going to have the money to spend on getting this accreditation needed, and they're not going to have the time because that would mean pulling their resources off of the projects that are going to make them money in order to spend all this time and upfront money on getting them in front of the US government, when actually it could end up that they don't grow elsewhere and the US government doesn't even want to work with them or whatever it may be. It's a very, very difficult thing for companies to have to deal with. Palantir, however, have got the accreditation. So they are one of only 3 companies in the entire world alongside Microsoft and Amazon with IL6 level clearance. This means that their federal cloud service has received Department of Defense Impact Level 6 clearance. And this is the highest level of security clearance that can be granted to a cloud service provider, and Palantir have that. And to break this down simply, a company that has this IL6 clearance, like Palantir, Amazon and Microsoft, they're the only companies in the entire world that have it. It means that they are certified to handle the most sensitive government data, including classified and confidential information. So it's a pretty big stamp of recognition that Palantir have this. And think about it, Palantir is such a small company compared to Amazon and Microsoft. Such a small company, but they have the same clearance as them to work with the US government. So they are Palantir are utilizing their unfair advantage, if you will. They have this clearance, they have all of the accreditation needed, and they have basically created this program called FedStart. Now, FedStart create pathways for non-IL certified businesses to help them, to fast track them, to be able to provide their software solutions to government. Like we were saying, why is this so beneficial? It's because it saves the business time and money. Time and money are probably the 2 most valuable things to most people and most companies. Let me give you some figures and you'll start to understand just how good this FedStart program is. So typically, on average, It will take a company to receive a FedRAMP and IL5 accreditation, which is what they need to work with the government. It will take them 18 months on average. 18 months. That is a long time, especially for a startup company that moves very, very quickly. And that's 18 months only once the application is in process and once a sponsor has been found. And it costs on average $1 million. And this is for the auditors and consultants alone. This doesn't even include any engineering fees or any opportunity costs for actually building and documenting their entire cloud environment. If a company instead decides that they don't want to spend all this money and time and stress doing it themselves, and they actually want to partner with Palantir's FedStart program, they can sort of sit back a bit. And not only can they hand off the tiresome work to Palantir and the difficult, stressful work to Palantir to actually get this accreditation, but they also speed up the process and they make the process a lot cheaper for themselves as well. So it's a win-win all round, really. So you're probably wondering, okay, well, it's obviously beneficial for the company to work with Palantir's FedStart, but how does this actually benefit Palantir? Aren't they having to spend more time and effort working with these companies and they're not really getting anything back? Actually, it is so beneficial for Palantir. Firstly, Palantir have already been through this process themselves. Like I said, they are top dogs in terms of the accreditation side of it. They know this process and they've got the platforms already there that are needed to be able to do this. Won't get into the technical details of how the FedStart program is actually ran. It's very interesting though, by the way, but let me explain how beneficial this is to Palantir. It's basically Palantir printing free money because they've got everything that they need already in place. So they, I believe, charge an upfront cost, and then this is where it gets really juicy. Ongoing from that, they charge the client recurring fees based on the client's usage. So that is monthly or however often revenue coming in to Palantir. That is really great. Aside from the direct financial benefits that this program is giving Palantir, they are also building connections and relationships with the customers of FedStart. A lot of these customers will be startups. They will be businesses looking for ways to be more efficient with their data. They'll be looking for ways to integrate AI into their business. So what can Palantir do? Well, they can build these relationships and then they can upsell other pieces of their software. And then also, this is quite a strategic move by Palantir. It's more than just a simple product offering. By embedding their technology, by embedding Palantir's technology in the government systems, Palantir are basically positioning themselves very strategically to be an indispensable partner for the US government. And then lastly, the other reason why FedStart is I'm so bullish on this as a reason for Palantir is because it's a real competitive moat. They have the competitive advantage. There are not going to be many companies that actually can provide a solution like FedStart to businesses around the world, because it's so difficult to get to this point, and companies are just not going to bother with that, I don't think. So they're going to have the competitive advantage. And like I said, they can use it as sort of a funnel to get these clients signing up to AIP, whatever it may be, whatever comes in the future for Palantir. So FedStart is reason number one. Now let's move to reason number two. This is quite an obvious one, but I didn't think that this video would be complete without mentioning, of course, AIP, Artificial Intelligence Platform. AIP is still very new for Palantir. I feel like, as a Palantir investor and someone that researches this company every day, and I'm sure you feel the same, that AIP has been out for a very long time. It hasn't. It's really new. However, what we learned from Q3 earnings about AIP demand is insane. It is such a bullish reason. AIP demand is really there and it's growing. We have seen AIP cons before, and this gave a lot of use cases and a lot of evidence of how useful it can be. That was great. The problem at that point was very much, this is obviously good, but they need to sell it and they need to scale it. They are now solving these issues. How? Well, firstly, it's not monetized yet, but what they are doing is they are having a go-to-market strategy of it being unmonetized, and they're holding AIP boot camps. What this means is a 0 to 5 day basically crash course where people from different organizations turn up, they get hands-on keyboard, hands-on experience of AIP, how it can be useful for their company. They then leave within that short space of time. Some of these are only lasting a matter of hours actually. having use cases for AIP. The whole idea of this is then they go to their CEO or whoever's in charge and they say, we need AIP. They then get AIP. At the moment, it costs them nothing. At some point, Palantir monetize this. That's when the numbers are going to get very interesting because clearly it's very valuable and it's very wanted. A very, very cool thing here is that in November, in the current month, Palantir are holding more AIP boot camps in just this 1 month than they did pilots in the whole of 2022. So the scaling is happening. What I like to think about here as well is the total addressable market, the TAM of AIP and of Palantir in general, actually. Every sector out there could pretty much benefit from AIP. It is a really, really cool way to integrate AI into your business to not just give fluff. It gives real world benefits, real world applications to your business, whether you're utilizing it to improve your supply chain choices, your staffing choices, whatever it may be, there are clear benefits. And alongside the potential market for this is also this idea that the AI revolution is happening. Businesses, commercial or government, are waking up to the power of AI. They are waking up to the necessity of having AI integrated into their business in order to have a competitive advantage over their peers. It's very clear. And I think Dan Ives put it really nicely. He said that there is going to be a new tech bull market, and it started despite concerns. He sees the setup in the sector as strong and a tidal wave of AI spending. He said, heading into 2024, we believe the tech sector is set for an acceleration of spending around cloud and AI that we believe is being significantly underestimated by the street. While IT budgets are expected to be up modestly in 2024, we believe cloud and AI-driven spending will be up 20 to 25% over the next year, with use cases now exploding across the enterprise and consumer landscape. If businesses are spending so much money on AI, who are they spending that money on? Who are the AI players here? I think Palantir have a very, very, very great product with AIP. And I think the demand there and the potential there is huge. I think a lot of people are now seeing that, and we're in such early days of it. So that is my second bullish reason for Palantir. My third reason as to why I'm so bullish on Palantir is their diverse customer base. Now, Palantir is a very interesting business model because they have their commercial side, which is more of the newer side, where they work with different businesses, different startup companies, whoever it may be, just businesses, normal commercial businesses, but they then also have their government side. So they're working with Department of Defense, they're working with government organizations, not just in the US, but actually around the world as well. Two different streams of clientele there. So why is this so important? Well, I think it's because obviously it gives them diversification. It gives them diversification in terms of their revenue streams. And it also means that they are not reliant on just one sector or one type of business. Let's just say that the only customers Palantir worked with were customers from the technology sector. That was their entire client base. They didn't have the government side. They didn't have any other companies from different sectors, just technology. Let's say that. Then let's say the economy was hit really hard. Interest rates went up. Inflation was absolutely rife. What would that mean? Well, that would have a direct impact to Palantir's business because these technology companies would have to cut down on their spending. I'm not saying they would cut off Palantir because I do see it as a necessity, but Palantir would be affected. However, Palantir don't just work with the technology sector. They work with sectors that have to continue even in times of economic downfall. The healthcare sector, the government organizations. What it means is that Palantir can remain, hopefully, financially strong during all different market times. If there is a war and there's turmoil in that sense in the world, well, I hate to say it, but unfortunately, Palantir are very, very helpful in that area. They will profit and they will provide their services during those times. They will also, however, be very strong during times when the economy is really, really great because companies will have excess money to spend on businesses and software like Palantir provide. This reduces the risk. It mitigates against that risk. It increases diversification, and it means it just shows how adaptable Palantir's software really is. So that is my final reason. Like I said, let me know your reasons why you're bullish on Palantir in the comments below. If you haven't already, Subscribe to this channel so you don't miss my future videos. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in another one very shortly.